Well, the season is here in the state of Texas, and we are definitely in the building. Of course, the DFW is one of the most talent-rich areas in the country. And you're joined by Marc Henry here, the host of the Platform DFW Podcast, part of the Platform Podcast Network, where we go around the country each week highlighting coaches and players. But listen, we're going to start on the east side of things when it comes to DFW. This is one of the most talent-rich places in the country. You can't talk about DFW this year without talking about the North Forney Falcons. And we got their offensive coordinator in the building, my guy, Coach Charles Hitchens. Listen, Coach Hitchens is the OC of one of the top offensives that I think have something to say in the DFW area this season, man. And Coach Hitchens, we appreciate you giving us a little time.
Man, appreciate you, Mark. Man, appreciate you giving me an opportunity to be on. Anytime I get the opportunity to talk about the North Forney Falcons, man, it's always a blessing, man. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. Well, you guys are coming off an 8-4 season last year. We'll talk about that shortly. But talk about your journey to get to North Forney, your coaching journey, and what you're looking forward to this season.
Well, I tell you, man, it's the journey was what God had wanted for me, and so man, I started back home and back in my hometown, my roots in a place called Marlin, Texas. You know, that's in Central Texas. You know, brought up that way, graduated from there in 2009. So when I knew I wanted to coach and get into education, I went back home where it all begun, and so I started there. I was there in Marlin, had some success there. Went on a state semifinal run my last year there. I was there in Marlin from 2016 to 2022. And then I knew if I needed to one day get to where I'm at right now, you know, doors open up for me. So I went into the opportunity at Midway under Coach Shane Anderson at the time. And I was at Midway as a recruiting coordinator there, running backs coach, and did some really good things there. And a guy by the name of Ken Lash, the head coach who was down at Waco University, gave me an opportunity at Denton Braswell, and so that's how I ended up getting to the DFW area. And I'm so grateful, you know, that he took a chance on me getting there. So I was at Braswell for a year. Did some things there, and I got an opportunity to kind of reconnect with Coach Shavers, who is now my head coach here at North Forney. But I've been knowing Coach Shavers since about 2017, 2018. Kind of met him at coaching school, and we just stayed connected, man. And when he was taking the job out here, he hit me up and said, "Man, Hitch, I want to rock with you. I love the things you do," and so grateful, you know, for him giving me the opportunity, you know, because it's a lot of great OCs and you know that's around in the DFW area. But the fact that he gave me an opportunity, a little country boy from Marlin, Texas, and so that's kind of like how my career has been so far, man. And I always tell people all the time, man, is being great where your feet are, man. And I believe when you do it that way, you know, you ain't trying to stab nobody in the back, man. And, you know, good things that happen for you. So that's how I'm right here at North Forney going into my second year. And we got a great opportunity, got great kids and great program, man. So looking forward to the season.
Well, definitely, man. You guys are coming off. Shout out to Coach Savers. Coach Savers. He's been a great guy, great friend. Know him very well from his days at McKinney. But last year, you guys in the first year, you go 8-4. You make a
Yes.
playoff run. You kind of brought what you have now to the forefront. Now you got some top returning talent, not just in the state but in the country.
Yeah.
Some guys that are heavily recruited. You can't start without talking about QB1 Legend Bay. I think he's one of the most exciting players in the country, committed to Tennessee, can do a number of things. You also got who I think is one of the underrated guys in that lineup, is that's Anakin Asakwa. I
Yeah.
think Asakwa, if I'm saying it correctly.
Masuko,
I
Andy,
think he's
Andy
one of those
John,
guys that
Masuko.
maybe. Yes, I think, watching his film and going over some things before we talk today, I think that he's one of those guys in DFW that's probably going to start to see some more headlines this year. He's one of those guys that can do everything for you. Of course, one of my favorite players that I like, up and coming guys, Bryson Thrower Jr. I think he's one of those next level guys that's started to blow really up this spring in the offseason. And then defensively, you can't talk about enough about Ryan Gilbert Jr.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the second, Ryan Gilbert the second, one of the top safeties in the country as well. You got Elijah Altiano, who I think is fabulous as well. Let's
Yes, sir.
talk about this. Since you're on the offensive side, let's start there with those guys and what you think about those guys coming back this year.
Well, I tell you, man, and coming in, I tell everybody, it was really for us coming in last season. We didn't really get stuff kicked off until first week of June. So them guys we weren't fortunate enough to go through my all season with those guys. So you talking about installing, trying to get things going in June, and those guys came in, they bought into what it is that we have to bring, and it's a really a true testament to Coach Shavers, and what he believes in, and just bringing it on. And so we really got down working and stuff, man. And so now, fast forward, for the things we did last year. Now, obviously, we know those expectations are a lot higher, and so we got a really good group coming back. Obviously, you talked about Legend Bateman, who again I think is the most exciting, player in the state of Texas. Electrifying with the ball in his hand, makes really good decisions. That's things that we worked on this spring with him, and just his leadership skills and how he carried himself, man. He's been phenomenal, and I tell you, man, going into this season and having him healthy, and just excited about what's about to happen for him. Going forward. And then obviously you got Elijah Otieno, who's one of our top leading receivers, coming off the season. And we walked in the building last year, we were thinking like, man, who the guy's gonna be? And that dude, man, got going last year, and obviously he raised a lot of eyes. Got some looks on him, and now talking about a guy who's committed to Wake Forest. That's gonna go do really great things. So looking for him to make a lot of big plays this season. And then obviously, you have Bryson Thrower, man, talking about a guy who was just a sophomore last year, only had right at about 100 yards receiving. He's just a young pup. But then I'm telling you, that guy got in there and worked his butt off really hard this off season, and did some really great things, ran track, did all of it, man. And now you talking about this cat got over 36 offers, and just again, a true testament to Coach Shavers as being the head of our program, and how we step in, and like we tell our kids all the time, man, like if you do it for this logo, if we're on our chest, you're gonna always make sure that you're creating good value, good things that come out of it. So that's what we're seeing right now. That's what the world is seeing when it comes to North Forney Falcons. And then Andy Asuko. Man, he's a guy who was our top leading rusher last year, who pound for pound, gonna tote that rock. And so very excited about him being there. But then we got another guy right behind him who's had a really good spring, Corday Woodard, who's another back that's gonna be very exciting to see, on Friday nights. And so just excited, man, about the whole deal. And then obviously we got some guys, Brayden Fleming, we got Quay Vaughn. We got another guy named Braylon Perkins, the freshman, call him Speedy B. Elijah Turner. We got a lot of pieces, that we really have going for us over here on the pushing our offense, man. And so grateful for it. And I can't talk about those guys without talking about our offensive line, man. And because that's where it's really worn at right there with those guys, man. Like we tell them all the time, can't do nothing without them. And so returning, College Grisby, Caden Johnson, we got guys,
That
man.
was that was where I was going next. Speak on
Yeah,
those guys.
yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely. Well, I definitely think, Grigsby is a guy that, I think college coaches should be really, really high on. And you got Marcus Page, 6'7",
yes, sir.
who's like a dancing bear out there on the outside, but very physical in the run game. I mean, you guys are set up for success, but everything has to be executed.
Yeah,
And in order to be successful, and you know that, and Coach Shavers knows that, and your staff knows that, but 10-6A is one of the toughest districts in the state. I don't care about what 6A, 4A, 5A, whatever. But you got the Forney Jackrabbits, you got Longview, Rockwall Heath, Roy City, and Texas. Tyler Legacy out of Tyler, Texas. This is a very tough district. You
yes,
guys
sir.
finished and did well last year, but nothing gets bigger than that Forney rivalry.
Yes, sir.
Forney and North Forney, you can expect the whole city to be shut down. But
Yes, sir.
talk about that district and then shed some light on that Forney rivalry.
Man, I tell you, man. What I tell you, when I came to the DFW area, and the district that we was gonna be in, even when I was at Denton, Like I always take pride in going to play in the districts, and and that's where I put myself as a coach. Like I've been on them sides, man, where you ain't really playing nobody or whatnot, and you go blow them out and do those things, but just to be battle tested, with being in those districts, seeing what you can do from your kids, and then how you prepare as a coach. I tell you, like you said, District 10, 6A, it's one where we got to prepare every week. You just never know. When you facing guys like Rockwall Heat, Longview, those guys, man, are top heavy, really good programs that has a lot of great culture behind them. And so, we tell our guys all the time, we call it the recipe, man. Like how, if you prepare right and well, you give yourself an opportunity. Winning the line of scrimmage, taking care of the football, like blocking well, and getting our dudes the ball, and understanding, like, we able to do that, all right, consistently, day in and day out on Friday nights and throughout the week, man. We give ourselves an opportunity to go win football games. And I tell you, man, that Forney game, because I was just my first year being into the district last year, man. It's a crazy atmosphere because the city is shut down. It's packed out, and we look forward to that. Those guys have a really good ball club over there with Coach Fleener leading those guys coming off of state run before they came into 6A, and so it's always gonna be really good, going into that. And now obviously we get an opportunity to host them, here at our stadium, this year. So really looking forward to that game, man. And just our kids, they know what we're playing for, because it's respect, for the city. And it's a really good fun thing, and for them guys to go out there and compete, it's bragging rights. So we were looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I think it's one of the biggest rivalries that people may not talk about in the DFW area. It was a big game last year, and it's going to be an even bigger game with the new stadium that you guys are going to be in there full time this year. You kind of got in there midway last year, but full time this year. I've heard great things about that atmosphere, and the things that you guys are doing with that program are second to none in the DFW area. And that's why I wanted to have you on right before the season starts. It's about to go down. You guys take on Skyline this weekend. You got Plano East, Mesquite, Mansfield Lake Ridge before you get into the heart of the district. What's the mindset going into those non-district games that you guys are taking as a squad?
Man, the biggest thing, going into those non-district games, just making sure, offense, we finding the rhythm early, finding the rhythm, taking care of the football, ball security, getting the ball to our dudes, just make sure that, we doing those little things, win the line of scrimmages, really, because we know we got to go up against, and so obviously, we was able to scrimmage, the Sotos, and, you're going to play the long views, those guys who are really tough in those trenches like that. So just looking forward to put emphasis on that, finding the rhythm early, taking care of the football, and
Right,
being able to keep our defense off the
right.
football field. So that's what we're looking for. Staying healthy. That's the key as well too. Staying healthy.
Well, definitely. And staying healthy, that's a key. That's
Yeah.
the key going into the district because you open up with Forney. So
Yes, sir.
you want to be rolling into there. And you guys have a chance to be going into those first few games, one of the better teams in the DFW. And that's why we wanted to have you on right before the season starts. But, man, let's get you out of here, man. Tell everybody where they can find you. One thing about you is you're heavy on social media in a positive way. And, of course, we've been doing this and knowing you for a little while. You promote high school football as a high school coach, as an educator as well. And I think that you do some of the great things on social media as the as positivity, being given to the high school football game here in the state of Texas. Definitely give out your social media where they can follow you, and also the Falcons, where they can follow you this year as you guys go into the 25 season.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You can find me on Twitter at Coach Hitchens. Just follow me on there. Then also our North Forney Falcon page is NFHS Falcon. So you just follow us on there, and you'll see a lot of great things, just different things that we just trying to make sure that we promote our kids, man. That's the biggest thing. Like, they do a lot of great things, not just with football, but just serving in the community from what they do from academic standpoint, like all of that type of stuff. And that's just where we are with it, and that's what we believe in around here. We tell those guys we all we got, and like we all we need. That's what we stand on.
Absolutely. Well, listen, good luck in the first week of the season. We'll be checking on you guys, and we're definitely pulling up on you guys this year out in Forney, man. This is the Platform DFW Podcast with your host, Marc Henry, man, for Coach Hitchens. We'll see you next week as we hit the gridiron. It's on in the state of Texas and definitely in the DFW.
Yes, sir.